Eat smart at work, the art of everyday plate. I am Dr. Saptarshi Bhattacharya, Senior Consultant in Endocrinology at the Indraprastha Apollo Hospitals, New Delhi. Today, we'll be talking about how to manage our diet during our work. So, we almost one third of the day, or sometimes even more than that, actually we are spending in our workplace, and most of us do not put in a thought about how to go about it. So maybe many of you will be like having your breakfast, then carrying a small tiffin, having intermittent snacks, and then come back hungry at home around 7 or 8 in the evening, and then have a huge dinner because you are very hungry. So I think there is a major problem in that, how you are going about it, and you can actually change your metabolic risk, your risk for diabetes, your risk to gain weight, your risk for heart disease. So overall metabolic profile can improve, and you can actually start feel more healthy and be more healthy if you are more mindful about how you are eating in the workplace. So the first suggestion from my side will be, what you need to do is you need to have a proper breakfast before you go to workplace. Sometimes you are in a hurry, so you just maybe have a quick bite at the sandwich, and then you go into office. You have access to the biscuits, chips, snacks, and a cup full of coffee with cream and sugar, and you have that. But again, that is like you were starting it wrong. So ideally, you should be planning your day in a way where you have a proper breakfast at home, which should be rich in protein that gives you satiety. So when you are reaching your office, so you won't feel like eating immediately after reaching there. And also you should have green vegetables. If you want to have fruits, that is also okay. Try to have less of simple carbohydrates and also oily food. So things which will give you maximum satiety will be proteins and complex carbohydrate. They will ensure that you remain full for a longer time, and you don't feel like going having something, having a snack immediately after reaching the office. So if your office is serving healthy food, that is good, but sometimes the options you get in at your workplace might not be the best ones. So you really need to make sure that what you are eating in the office. So if you are having diabetes, if you are having excess weight, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're having blood pressure or other issues, so it's not a bad idea to carry your food to your workplace. You can have a healthy meal. So try to have, maybe sometimes people feel that I can't carry a roti without ghee or paratha because that will become dry once you reach your office. So rice you can replace by something like quinoa. So which will be, if you have a microwave in the office, you can heat it up and warm it up and eat it. So millets are a good option also. If you can make a millet based dosa or millet based idli, those are also fine. Even dal based dosa or idli are also good options. So those you can carry for your lunch at the workplace. The main problem occurs that you keep on taking those breaks, then you will have a cup of coffee. If it's a machine, it will mostly have coffee with sugar or tea with sugar. So that again is not a very good idea. So if you are having like 4 to 5 cups of tea or coffee with sugar and cream, so that will be like another 100 to 150 or sometimes 200 calories, which are totally extra and unnecessary. So that will, in the long term, it does have a negative impact in some way. So if you want to have coffee or tea, the tea should be green tea or black tea. The coffee, if you are wanting to have, that should be a black coffee. So you started, I can assure you that you actually get used to the taste of black coffee quite well. And there are actually studies which suggest that black coffee can help in actually fatty liver and all these metabolic liver disease problems. That is not a bad option. So the snacking should be very, very mindful. So you can have roasted chana. If you are carrying sprouts, that is okay. Most of the biscuits carry a lot of sugar. So even if they write that it does not contain any artificial sugars, they will have natural sugars. So that also causes spikes in your blood glucose and has an overall negative impact on your metabolism. So that is again not recommended. So again, snacks which are millet based or chana or things like that are good options. So if you want to carry some paneer, or if you want to carry some curd or milk low in sugar, so those are also good options. Even if you are having that in the office canteen, that can be taken. So I will end it here. I won't take this very long because we'll be primarily dealing with question and answers, which we'll be getting right now from all of you. So one thing that occurs is stress eating. So a meeting went wrong in the office or in the workplace, you had some tussle, you had some quarrel. So it's a for many of us, it's like a natural response that when you are stressed, so you tend to crave for calories. So that is like a natural response for many. So there you really need to be mindful. So even those extra calories or binging on calories after a event of stress or stress related anxiety can again be a cause for problem in the long run. So my suggestion to you will be, in office you really need to be mindful about how you are eating, because you are spending quite a lot of time when you are at home and you are sleeping, you are not eating. So you almost spending like 8 to 10 or 12 hours in your office. So you need to space out your calories, need to space out your snacks, take some light walks if possible. So if you're sitting in the whole day in your couch, so that is not a good idea. It's a good, also a good habit to have a glass of water in your on your desk. And so it's good that if you stay hydrated, and also if you are having water, so that also gives you some sort of satiety, and you won't feel like, okay, I need to go out and have a little bit of snack again. So these are small tips which can actually help you to deal with the problems of day to day eating and snacking patterns, and overall your meal pattern. And even it might sound very simple, but even these small steps also go a very, very long way in keeping you healthy and preventing future complications. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. My first question to you is, why is it so important to talk about eating smart at work when we talk about diabetes? So if somebody has diabetes, so it's actually a real challenge if you're in the workplace and how you're planning your day and planning your food over there, because there's something like peer pressure, that is which really you need to deal with, because everybody else is having a snack with two, three, four biscuits, and you are standing just next to them and talking with them, and you just feel that, okay, I can't have this, everybody else is having. So that gives you a lot of stress. So I think there, first of all, it has to be in your mind that you need to get that sorted. So whatever is good for you, you need to do it. So it doesn't matter what others are telling. So don't bend into peer pressures or what others are doing, or what others are suggesting. So again, very important, as we were discussing, that you need to have a proper meal at home. Preferably carry your lunch if possible. If you are not able to carry, discuss the healthy options at your canteen. So avoid simple carbohydrates, avoid sugars totally. You can't have sweets and all. If you have the option of having roti, that you can have. Pulses is not an issue. Curd is not an issue. So these are simple options which you get. But again, extra fat, extra sugar, things like potato, things like sweet. So that doesn't really help. And the major challenge remains that sometimes if you're on stronger medications like insulin, or there are some medication, oral tablets also, which can cause low sugar, so you might feel slightly hungry that once the gap is quite long. So in that case also, you need to be careful that you need to take it's not necessary that many of the newer medications are quite good, they don't cause low sugar, but at least for some of the medications, they have a tendency for low glucose, and you really need to be careful that you don't give a very long gap if you're having diabetes and you're on those medications. My next question is, we spend most of our waking hours at work. How does the environment affect our blood sugar and overall health? So again, that is very, very important. So you, most of the time when you are awake, you are actually working. So you are in your office. So you need to have a healthy habit at your workplace. So first of all, as we discussed, that you need to don't have very heavy meals. So you might feel slightly even sleepy after that. So try to take small intermittent snacks, and that should be mindful eating, not biscuits, not chips, not things like that which can raise your blood glucose. And also many of the offices have started having gyms, they have treadmills, they have play areas where you can take a break and go for a table tennis for some time. So these are things which are coming into our workplaces. So those are, and how overall the positive, how attitude of the office is, and how you are dealing with it, that those all those things are very, very important. And apart from how you are eating, it's very important to avoid very long sitting hours. So you need to take a break after 1.5 to 2 hours. take maybe 5-10 minutes stroll you can have, and then come back to office. Even if you don't have a place for like a small gym or a table tennis board, so you need to take a small break of 10-15 minutes after every 2 hours. Don't keep on sitting in the chair for the whole day.
What does a balanced everyday plate look like for someone who wants to prevent or manage diabetes?
So again, a balanced plate will be like half of it should be protein. So which can be, if for a non-vegetarian, it can be fish or chicken or egg whites. For a vegetarian, it can be pulses, sprouts, paneer. It should be one fourth should be protein, one-fourth should be complex carbohydrate like cereals. You can have roti, you can have, if you are comfortable with multigrain options, that those are good. If you're comfortable with millets, those are even better, maybe. That actually helps. And the rest half should be green vegetables, fruits which have lots of fibers and not high in glycemic index. So those are the salads. So those should actually occupy the other half of the plate. It should be one-fourth protein, one-fourth of cereals, preferably multigrain or millets, and half should be actually green vegetables and fruits not high in glycemic load and glycemic index.
What are the common mistakes people make with their food choices at work, especially during long meetings?
So again, if you are having a long meeting, so you will be having so tea and coffee will be served from time to time. And then you will have a plate of cookies or sometimes samosas or chips along with it. So those, if you have diabetes, those chips and samosas and cookies are absolutely no. So we really need to make those changes in our workplace, where the snacks which come in between those long meetings, so they really need to be healthier options. And if you are taking tea or coffee in between, so it should be preferably black coffee or green tea or black tea. And again, sugar should not be added. Even the creamer has a lot of fat as well as sugar, so those also should be avoided.
What are some easy, realistic snacks, wraps, or lunchbox ideas for office goers?
So if you are from North India, roti is okay. Stuffed roti is also fine. Many people complain that without ghee, the roti becomes very hard and it's difficult to eat. So ghee contains a lot of saturated fat. So actually, people might feel that ghee is very healthy, but already our food, the way our Indian food is cooked, it already has a lot of saturated fat. And whatever extra ghee you are applying on the roti, that is actually not required. So something like a stuffed roti, you can have a stuffing of paneer or you can have a stuffing of piyaz with very minimal oil, non-stick. You can use get the roti made, stuffed roti made. So that is one option. Millets are a good option. Quinoa is a good option. So those you and if you are a South Indian, so dosas and idlis are good options. But again, so they can be millet based or they can be made from dal also. So those are healthier options which you can get made at home and then carry to your office.
How can people with diabetes manage social eating like team lunches or birthday treats without feeling restricted?
So again, that is something that is a challenge. Sometimes so we have kids who have type 1 diabetes. Those are actually real challenges. So it's a lot of stress. So though the one who goes through it can only understand that everybody else is eating in some other way. You are not eating in that way. So it's difficult. So we do understand that. So maybe if you are having a piece of cake, it has to be a very small piece just for testing. So if you are having a full piece of cake, it's going to cause a major spike in blood glucose if somebody has diabetes. There is no doubt about it. So again, the healthier options will be, as we have been discussing, things which are made out of protein, things which are made out of millets, and those who are not fried or deep fried. Those things should be avoided. Juices should be avoided. So you can have a nimbu pani, but again, go for something like a fresh lime soda, which does not have added sugar. So you can go for the salty option. So soda is fine. Any non-calorie beverage is fine. Green tea, black tea, these are good options. So that's how you need to go about it. It's difficult, but again, even the small steps actually it does make a difference in the long run. So you really need to be careful about it.
How important is meal timing for blood sugar control during working hours?
So again, that is something which is very important. So if your meal is protein based, the craving actually goes down. So increase the protein content of your meal. That is what we keep on telling our patients all the time when they feel that okay, we keep on feeling hungry after some time. So that actually makes a huge difference, because our Indian diet is full of carbs. So 70% is carbs. So we are carrying a roti which is predominantly carb, very little protein in that. Then will even dal will also have some protein, but again it will have some amount of carbs. And so these are, say somebody has carrying potatoes, so again it will be primarily carbs. So those are things which do not give you satiety, and you will start feeling hungry after some time. So increasing the protein intake does help. If you are on slightly stronger medications for diabetes, which can cause low sugar like insulin, then you need to have small frequent meals. Otherwise, it's okay if you're on a light medicine for diabetes, you don't have, it's not practically possible to, what sometimes people say, that you keep on eating every 2 hours. So if you're in your workplace, you can't always do that. That is not realistic. But you need to understand and discuss with your doctor what type of medication you are taking. So if somebody is on a light medicine which does not cause low sugar, so even a 3 4 5 hours gap is okay. It doesn't really make a difference. But again, it should not go to that extent where you start feeling very after hungry after 5 6 hours and you go for a binge eating. So that is where you need to calculate that okay, this there has been a very long gap, so you need to have something maybe at 3 to 4 hours, so you do not feel extremely hungry at 5 or 6 hours and you go for a huge amount of food at the same time. So there is no fixed rule. It depends on your appetite pattern, your body's own tendency. So it varies from person to person. So you are the best judge for it. But small frequent meal, it helps. Not always practically possible. But you should not be feeling so hungry at one point of time after a long gap that you go for a binge. So that is something which should be strongly avoided.
Many people work long or night shifts. How can they maintain healthy eating patterns?
So that is a challenge. Actually, we have data that night shift workers, so their metabolism slightly gets altered. So they are slightly more predisposed to obesity. They are more predisposed to develop diabetes and all these metabolic problems. So the meal timing actually becomes quite difficult, and it's almost gets inverse. So if somebody is having a night shift, so you just make, again, there is no one standard rule. So it depends on when you are going to sleep. So if you're going to sleep maybe at 3 or 4 at night and getting up at 10 11, so don't keep on snacking like every 1 2 hours at night. That is very common practice. So that is something which you really need to avoid. So have a proper dinner maybe around 10 11, then maybe have a light snack before you actually go off to sleep, and then when you get up in the morning, have a early heavy breakfast which is again rich in protein and complex carbohydrate.
Apart from diet, what small lifestyle tweaks at work can help regulate blood sugar, like short walks or hydration habits?
Yeah, I think we already discussed that hydration is very important. So keep a bottle of water on your desk at the workplace and having small sips. So that gives you some sort of satiety and also keeps you hydrated. And you need to break up your sitting pattern after every 1.5 to 2 hours. You need to take a short break. And even if you are sitting and not sitting still, so if you are shaking your legs, moving or stretching yourself slightly, maybe after every half an hour. So those also actually have been seen to help in overall, it improves the metabolic profile of for you. So that even small movements can actually go a long way in preventing long-term complications.
If you had to give one simple rule for eating smart at work, what would it be?
So if you are reaching your workplace, you need to, so the home is the best place where you can set the right platform about how you are eating at your workplace. So have a proper breakfast at home which is rich in protein and complex carbs. If your canteen is not providing the right food, carry your home food from home. Take with healthy snacks. So don't take biscuits, cookies, chips. So those are really harmful. Something like roasted chana can be helpful. Avoid sugary coffee or tea. So it has to be either green tea or black coffee. And make sure that if you are traveling, say 1 2 hours back to your home from your workplace, you have a light snack before you leave. Because otherwise, what happens is that when you reach home, you are very hungry and you often tend to binge, and you tend to eat more. So those are important steps which can prevent diabetes and related complications for those who have diabetes, for those who do not have diabetes but are even having pre-diabetes, for those who are trying to lose weight, or just for everybody who are trying to stay healthy. So these are important tips which can go a long way forward to keep you healthy. World Diabetes Day is a reminder that the prevention begins with awareness, and actually it starts with where you are spending most of your awake hours. That is your workplace. So you need to be mindful about what you are doing, what you are eating, and how you are moving about in your workplace. It is very, very important. I hope that we had a meaningful discussion today. These small tips, I sincerely hope that it will help you to eat in a more healthy way in your workplace. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to write to us, and we'll definitely get back to you. Thank you once again for joining us today.